As the world marks, of course, Mandela Day, there are mixed reaction as we've been hearing from you this evening. And we asked you tonight, and some of you are saying there's not much to celebrate, while some are saying that it's a day to provide much needed care and love to others. Let's speak to someone who worked very closely with Madiba. We're joined by his former private secretary, and that's Zelda La Grange. Zelda, good evening to you. And I suppose it's morning or good day where you are, but thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about the day. I mean, we've been reflecting. A lot of our viewers are saying it's time to look back at where we come from and where we find ourselves as South Africa. And I wonder, what are some of your reflections tonight?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I think firstly, we all miss Madiba, and we all yearn for just direction. And I think it is an opportune time for us on a day like Mandela Day to think about his decisive leadership, his servant leadership, and what we really want in our leaders as a nation. Also, what we want for one another. I am in Medellin in Colombia at the moment, and I was at a university this morning, a university of engineering, where the students built a bridge. And the symbolism of that is we need to start building bridges. South Africa is across the world. We are still regarded as a miracle nation because we averted civil war. So we shouldn't forget where we come from as a nation, and we can get through the most difficult circumstances again because of our resilient people. And today, Mandela Day, is a day to be reminded of exactly that.
And, listening to some of our viewers tonight, there seems to be mixed reactions. Some are saying that for them, there's really not much, to mark the day with. They're not happy with where the country finds itself at the moment. But others are saying it's a day to pause and actually do good for others and reflect on the journey that we've traveled. And I wonder, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, we can't all change the world and change the bigger things, but we can change the circumstances around us, even by just reaching out to someone. Kindness doesn't always, or it doesn't cost money. So, improving just your own circumstances by showing someone kindness and compassion on a day like today, makes you feel better and gives you some self-respect as a human being. I agree with your viewers that there's very little to celebrate in where we are as a nation, the progress we've made in 30 years. But Nelson Mandela International Day is a day about service, and we should not forget that we dedicate only 67 minutes, we ask of people, just to show a bit of that servant leadership that Madiba was known for.
And tell us about the event that's coming up.
Yes, we are building this bridge at this University of Engineering, and they also have an Ubuntu Day. So, it is a very foreign term to them, while the whole history of South Africa and Nelson Mandela has been, it's amazing sharing it, but people are clearly in awe of our own country. So it serves as a good reminder also to me personally, what a wonderful nation we have. It's beautiful to see that students are willing to share this symbolism with scholars from the area, and encourage them to build bridges going forward in creating a better society.
And it's always interesting how when one travels, you get to see just how people view South Africa. But I remember at some point, reading an article that even after Madiba's passing, you really didn't take time out to process what had happened, to come to terms what you've had to, go through as well, because it was not only about his family, but someone like you who would have been his right hand at the time. And I wonder, have you managed to process this big loss?
It's difficult on days like today, I must be honest with you. But, just the encouragement I get when I look in a child's eye, a child that hardly speaks English, and through translation get to know a little bit about Nelson Mandela and what he stood for. It is such a privilege. It still is a privilege being able to tell those stories.
And I suppose then, it also is important to then keep his legacy alive, especially in light of what you've just said, when you look at a child and you look at some of the stories that continue to be shared about him.
We all lived in the same generation, during the same generation as Nelson Mandela And Bongi, so it's not only me, it's people, everyone that lived at the same time as Madiba has got a duty to share the person that we saw in action, and that leadership that we saw in action. So it is wonderful, to be. It's the first time ever that I'm in a foreign country during Mandela Day. But somehow, I don't think angels just had it in store for me that I'm in this country specifically, because they are struggling with issues exactly like South Africa. And it is good, to give them hope through sharing my experiences.
And telling them more about Ubuntu and what exactly it means. But thank you. I know we stole you from, the busy day you have ahead, but thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. That was Zelda La Grange, a former private secretary to Nelson Mandela.